This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Juha Kytölä, the Director of R&D and Engineering Wärtsilä, for a focus on how this Finnish maritime technology powerhouse is investing in the technologies that will drive the maritime industry in the coming generation. Can you give us an overview, by the numbers look using the metrics of your choice, that give a size and the shape to the organization and the assets in the Wärtsilä and R&D and Engineering department that's under your guise?
Yes, Wärtsilä as a company is investing heavily on research and development, and our global activity is now representing as investment around 4.1% of our turnover. So 241 million was last year used for research development activities. It's not all only for the engines activity, but it's a major part of that goes into the engine research and development. So it's a big activity what we do. And we indeed start from the research. So we are collaborating from university levels on research until we have final products out in the market.
You know, I know you're long tenured at Wärtsilä, and you know this is obviously a very transcendent time in the maritime industry. Can you compare this time, if you will, to other technology transitions that you've seen in your career, and give insights as what you see as the key to managing this transition efficiently, effectively for both Wärtsilä and for the maritime customers that you serve?
The transition taking place in the industry now is really huge. It's enormous what kind of challenges we have and what kind of opportunities also are being developed at the moment. So when I look back on my 34 years of career and being all the time closely linked to the technology and development, we have in the past, in the early years when I have been involved into introducing new fuels. We were putting a lot of focus on introducing natural gas as a fuel for shipping, which was very, very big step at that time. And we have made a big contribution already at that time for the decarbonization. But looking now what is taking place, not only the customers, the ship owners having the will to optimize their operations, not only the economical drivers for going forward, especially the environmental focus and the needs what we have in the surroundings. This is really making a big step now. So these are, in a way, these are fantastic times for people in the research and development, and very much, I must say, motivating also for our people. So working with the target to contribute to decarbonization in a global business, it really makes a difference for the people. So highly appreciated.
So, you know, my colleague Eric Hahn was recently in Finland, and he heard details of how Wärtsilä's new sustainable technology hub in Vasa, Finland. And it's a story that I'll actually publish very shortly in sister publication Marine News. But for this audience, can you give an overview of the STH? What's inside the new facility? What does it add to Wärtsilä's overall capability in helping to create and deliver decarbonization technologies in the maritime sector?
We indeed have made a great investment within Wärtsilä for developing the facilities and the infrastructure so that we can make big steps forward in developing new products and solutions. Here in Finland, in Vasa, we have a long industrial heritage, and we actually have more than 100 years operations on one and the same site, which consists, of course, of older but also modern facilities, etc. Wärtsilä made a bold decision a few years ago to completely build new facilities, relocate the activity not far, around 2 kilometers from the older place, at the harbor, close to the harbor of Vasa city. And it is a 250 million euro investment, which has been built to bring us about 60,000 square meters of new operating field inside and under one roof, which is then serving our research purposes, development, testing and validation, and also the production for producing our engine products to the markets, both of the marine market, but also on the land-based energy markets. It's a fantastic facility with a lot of modern opportunities, which is now under use. It was inaugurated in 2002, mid of that year, so a bit more than 1 year ago only.
All this talk of transcendent, obviously, the energy transition and future fuels are at the center of that. It's interesting because we talk about ad nauseum about future fuels in our pages, but as the global fleet still today runs primarily on traditional diesel. Can you discuss the challenges in manufacturing and customer support that you see? You're planning for the future that still has many questions while supporting the legacy technology and those that rely on it.
Yeah, the climate regulation is pushing for continuous improvement, and it's the fuel efficiency and also the fuels that are being used. And like today, the marine industry is using around 300 million tons of fossil fuel per year. And there is a great need now to replace that with solutions which are not causing the climate impact, so the CO2 emissions there. One of those fuels what we are developing to be used for marine is methanol. Methanol is a good fuel. It can be produced from biosources or also from synthetic bases, so using hydrogen and capturing CO2 or carbon. Today, there is production of methanol already in the world. If we count in the global production, that's around 90 million tons per year, but that is used by other industries. So we need to find also at the same time that we develop the technologies for using methanol, we need to find a ways how to ramp up also the production volumes for these alternative fuels, where methanol is one candidate. When thinking that we are developing now solutions, we have actually made a commitment also as our corporate that by year 2030 we will have a portfolio of products for zero carbon emissions. And additionally, in our own operations, we shall not give any carbon impact to the environment. So we will decarbonize our own activities as well, just to show how to lead by example also in business.
So, I know we talk about it being a transcendent time. There still are so many questions to be answered regarding the fuel transition, digitalization, and autonomy. This question might seem a little premature or out of place, but I guess what's next? And by this, I mean, what technologies do you see emerging today that will most dramatically impact Wärtsilä's ability to deliver solutions to its maritime customers in the future?
Thank you. It's a great question about the longer term future. What is oncoming in the industry and where are we focusing at? When we have started the development for decarbonization, we actually have our look on year 2050. So the solutions what we develop, we do the short term, medium term, and this 2050 focus is more on the longer term focus what we are having as our goal. And the reason why 2050 is important is that there is important legislation also set for that period. So International Maritime Organization has decided in their last meeting, MEPC meeting, which was in July, MEPC 18 in London, they decided that in year 2050, the global shipping shall take the greenhouse gas impact or the decarbonization down to zero. And that is an important target for us. Now, our programs are all developed to support coming to that goal. So the first steps are about how to make the transition possible. It is not an overnight change. It's not black and white in that way. So we will need transition where starting from energy efficiency, the lower the fuel consumption, of vessel, the better it is for environment. It's also helping economy in many cases, which is good. The next step is the transition fuels. Natural gas is a very good transition fuel. From well to wake, we can expect already 5 to 20% improvements depending on the products on the global greenhouse gas impact. The next steps are then going to fuels which are carbon neutral, like methanol is having carbon inside, but if it comes from biosynthetic basis, it's carbon neutral, whilst eventually going to fuels that are not having any carbon in the fuel itself at all. And then a lot of focus is put now already to supporting the long-term development also to fuels like ammonia and hydrogen also. So we have many steps in the transitions which are ongoing, all of those focusing on supporting the industry to take the pollution down to zero by 2050.
Can you put in perspective how AI, with all of its promise and peril, will impact the work that you do within the walls of Wärtsilä Research and Development Center?
Yeah, artificial intelligence and linked to that machine learning is indeed in some segments a powerful way to further improve the operations. If I start from the engines that are being produced for the ships, the engines have very powerful automation and control functionality built on the engine. There are computers all along the engine there which are sensing, monitoring signals from the engine process and operation continuously, and also we are controlling functions. These engines typically have rather many cylinders, starting from 6 cylinders up to 20 cylinders in one engine. And already now the controls are controlling combustion in every single cylinder separately for every single cycle, every single combustion separately. So if you compare to car or the truck industry, these are on a far higher level of accuracy, what these big engines are being controlled at. And already now machine learning and artificial intelligence is applied into these technologies to have the feedback loop there controlled as efficiently as possible, for learning also how the current product in that environment where it is operated works. Taking a little bit bigger look into this, artificial intelligence is also powerfully used for controlling operation of installed engines and systems on board of ships. With remote control, it's possible, or remote monitoring, sorry, it's possible to get the signals from operational ships to such centers where we are able to use artificial intelligence to monitor the signals there, to learn also there what the real condition is, what is normal, what is abnormal. And in our current system, it takes 2 weeks for the AI to learn an installation, a ship, and thereafter it can give guidance on what would be beneficial for the ship to modify or operate differently, or also hints how to further make savings on fuel or operating costs. Even learnings about how to further extend the service intervals for the better benefit of the operations. So artificial intelligence is already a big part of activities.
You know, when talk turns to energy transition and decarbonization, an oft overused word, I think, is collaboration. And quite frankly, from where I sit, it seems like there's a new collaboration on this, like coming out of the woodwork daily. But you know, can you discuss the Wärtsilä view on technical collaboration and partnership in this regard?
Yeah, indeed. If we look how today research and new technology development takes place, no company on its own is able to discover the elements and the opportunities that new technologies can bring. Therefore, in Wärtsilä, we are involved in many collaboration projects. So universities in general are very close partners for us. Specific universities typically have their own strong areas, and the network what we are able to, when we are able to bring universities together around certain themes, make big wonders, I would say, in many projects, including also research institutes naturally, but also suppliers and our customers. We have one very great example of such a collaboration. Here in Vaasa, we have a ferry which was elected as last year as the most environmental ferry in the world, which is powered by 4 of our Wärtsilä 31 engines. One of those engines in a ship which is having continuous route between Finland and Sweden, one of the engines is used as a laboratory, floating laboratory, as we call engine. So together with the company who is owning the ship, we have an agreement where also research projects are running together with universities. We can do research and study on especially one engine on board the vessel. So far that we can even modify the engine, bring new components, control technologies, and have real world experience. Since typically what we get in our own premises in a laboratory, you get very far, but it's still so far only in static conditions and climate, which is controlled. So real ship operation, like in this vessel from company Wasaline, the vessel name is Aurora Botnia. So it's very valuable, and it's an example of partnership.
Perhaps it might be a repetitive question given your previous answer, but can you point to one recent project, either internally at Wärtsilä or externally on one of your clients' ships, that most clearly illustrates Wärtsilä's decarbonization aspirations in maritime?
Yeah, this collaboration is best evidenced with the collaboration we have in this vessel from Wasaline, the vessel with the name Aurora Botnia, where we do collaborate, bring new technologies, and as an example of the development, what has been done there with the fantastic technology on this dual fuel product, what we have in there, which is running on natural gas. We have developed and validated onboard ship technology, which is cutting the methane emissions from such an engine further from the very low level down with approximately half. So bringing the best engine, most clean engine in the world, even half better than it used to be. Thanks to the collaboration and the operation on board a vessel, we could validate and prove the concept also to be ready and mature for real operation.
Every job has its challenges. What do you consider to be your greatest challenge to your job today, and how are you investing to meet that challenge?
Yeah, thank you. What is the challenge here in this work? I would say we have fantastic team here around, and the fact that we are working on decarbonization is giving us a lot of very skilled candidates for applying for new jobs, which we have increased clearly on the research and technology. I would say the challenge is not in technology in itself. It is to help the industry how to actually take the next step in this transition, how to get convinced on the next investment decision, which is taking the customers to the right direction. We are very much collaborating and supporting on that discussion, and for the industry, that is the challenge which we foresee. Technology we manage.